Jake Paul just got knocked out in sparring before the Mike Perry fight. Like, seriously? The guy can't even handle a sparring session, and he's been acting like he's Muhammad Ali's second coming. And get this, just 3 punches, and Jake was on the ground. He's been taking Mike Perry so lightly and talking trash about his methods. But now maybe he's starting to realize the reality. Do you know what Jake said after that? If you know Jake, you won't be surprised. It's classic Jake Paul. And it's just like the story of the ant and the grasshopper. Jake is the brash talker who thinks he can knock out anyone, whether it's Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, or Mike Perry. Confidence is good, but overconfidence will drown you. And it was Jake Paul himself who set the boxing world on fire by announcing a July 20th matchup with Mike Perry, boldly claiming it was just a warm-up before his big fight with Mike Tyson.
I haven't even been able to get warmed up, but I have a lot of tools in the bag. And this guy has so many holes and openings in what he does. And so I'm going to expose that. And I have a different kind of power and turning my hips more. That's what my new coaches brought into the equation.
In true Jake Paul fashion, he didn't hold back on the trash talk, calling Perry a mere bare-knuckle fighter, and confidently promising to knock him out without breaking a sweat. This brash confidence isn't new for Jake, but the level of disdain he showed for Perry's skills took many by surprise. Dismissing Perry as a Mike appetizer, Jake mocked his fighting style, ridiculing the bare-knuckle approach as primitive and ineffective against his own polished boxing techniques.
What's there to be scared of? You're just a Mike appetizer. You're like, before the main course comes out,
you got everything to lose.
You're like
I'm looking to ruin your plans.
A little Mike mozzarella stick, just get you right before the main course. Mike Tyson, November 15th, but July 20th.
The media, always hungry for controversy, latched onto Jake's inflammatory comments. Headlines blared with his outrageous insults, painting a vivid picture of a fighter who isn't afraid to stir the pot. This wasn't just about promoting a fight, it was about getting into Perry's head, undermining his confidence, and setting the stage for what Jake hoped would be a decisive victory. Jake's strategy was clear. Dominate the pre-fight narrative, get the fans talking, and make Perry out to be an easy target. However, this bold move didn't just capture the media's attention. It also drew the ire of many in the boxing and MMA communities. Perry, known for his toughness and relentless fighting spirit, wasn't going to take these insults lying down. The idea of being labeled as a mere appetizer seemed to light a fire under him. He responded with his characteristic grit, vowing to show Jake that bare-knuckle fighters are far from pushovers. Perry's fans rallied behind him, flooding social media with messages of support and predictions of an upset.
20th, I'm going to show you who your dad is. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah, it's funny that you've been saying that too, because you're the green one. You're very new to this game, and I'm going to show you how much you don't know. I'm going to teach you a lesson on July 20th.
Jake's trash talk wasn't just aimed at Perry. It was also a message to Mike Tyson. By dismissing Perry as a warm-up, Jake was implicitly elevating his eventual clash with Tyson, making it seem like the real fight that mattered. This strategy, while risky, was designed to keep the spotlight firmly on Jake, ensuring that his name remained at the center of boxing discussions. Jake Paul knew how to sell a fight. His ability to generate headlines, provoke reactions, and keep fans engaged was second to none. Whether you loved him or hated him, you couldn't ignore him. And that perhaps was the point. By positioning himself as the villain, Jake ensured that all eyes would be on him come fight night.
Man, I'm on a tear. Like, I'm not slowing down for anybody. If people want to delay fights, I got to get my experience in the ring. I love fighting. I love going under the bright lights, and I love putting on shows for the fans, and I will become world champion.
As the date of the fight approached, the tension continued to build. Perry, fueled by the desire to prove Jake wrong, intensified his training, honing his skills and preparing for what he knew would be a tough battle. Jake, on the other hand, maintained his bravado, publicly declaring that he would dispatch Perry with ease and move on to the real challenge, Mike Tyson. Sparring is supposed to be the safe zone, a place where fighters practice techniques, improve timing, and build endurance without the high stakes of an actual fight. It's a controlled environment to gauge readiness and make necessary adjustments. For Jake Paul, sparring with Mike Perry was meant to be a rigorous yet manageable prep step before his showdown with Mike Tyson. Instead, it turned into a harsh reality check. The session started with the usual intensity expected from two fighters of their caliber. Jake, known for his aggressive style and big talk, came out swinging, trying to establish dominance early. But Perry, with his extensive experience in both MMA and bare-knuckle boxing, was more than ready. He read Jake's movements like a book, anticipating his punches and countering with precision.
And is happy that it's over. And I was just happy to be there. And I'm mad about it because it fucked up my whole day.
Perry's strikes were relentless, targeting Jake's weaknesses with surgical precision. Each punch seemed to sap Jake's strength, eroding his confidence and exposing the gaps in his technique. By the time the session ended, it was clear that Perry had decisively won the exchange. Well, no offense to Jake, because Mike Perry is often underestimated in the combat sports world, and that's a big mistake. Perry's fighting credentials tell a different story. His journey in mixed martial arts, MMA, and bare-knuckle boxing has equipped him with a diverse and formidable skill set. With a professional MMA record of 14 wins and 8 losses, Perry has faced some of the toughest competitors in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, including bouts against notable fighters like Vicente Luque, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and Jeff Neal. His transition to bare-knuckle boxing further showcases his versatility, with notable victories that highlight his ability to adapt and excel in different fighting disciplines.
Hopefully Mike Perry can last and give me some good 8 rounds, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he has what it takes to last that long, but that's why I took this fight. I need the experience, I need tough guys, and I love putting on shows for the fans.
His sparring sessions are known to be grueling. He often spars with multiple partners in a single session, simulating the fatigue and pressure of an actual fight. This approach not only hones his skills, but also conditions his mind and body to perform under stress. Perry's dedication to training is evident in his physical condition and his ability to endure and overcome tough situations in the ring. His rigorous training regime ensures that he is always prepared, both physically and mentally, for any challenge that comes his way. And Jake, being Jake, never admits his mistakes. Instead, he always finds a way to point the finger at someone else. After his unexpected knockout during the sparring session with Mike Perry, Jake Paul was quick to blame Perry for using MMA tactics that aren't allowed in boxing. Jake's response was immediate and fiery, claiming Perry had taken unfair advantage. "He wasn't playing by the rules," Jake said emphatically in a post-sparring interview. He went on about how Perry used a Muay Thai clinch, where a fighter controls their opponent's head with both hands, allowing for powerful knee strikes and manipulative positioning. In boxing, where such tactics are off limits, Jake argued that Perry's actions were out of line. He also accused Perry of using dirty boxing techniques. According to Jake, Perry frequently used collar ties to pull Jake's head down and land uppercuts, a move that, while technically legal, is often frowned upon in traditional boxing due to its MMA roots and potential to cause serious damage.
So after we sparred, it was a privilege to get to spar with the famous dude. I was making him feel good, oh, you did a good job, bro. You kicked my ass in the first couple rounds and shit. I mean, look at the video.
He argued that his preparation was strictly within boxing rules and that Perry's unorthodox methods threw him off balance. Jake mentioned feeling overwhelmed by Perry's unexpected clinch work and grappling control, tactics that are rarely encountered in standard boxing sparring sessions. Jake's reaction wasn't just about defending himself, it was also a critique of the sparring environment. He suggested a need for a more regulated approach to ensure that fighters from different backgrounds adhere to the specific norms of the discipline being trained. Perry's use of MMA tactics, while within his skill set, highlighted the challenges boxers face when dealing with opponents versed in multiple fighting styles. Jake's grievances showed the fine line between leveraging diverse skills and respecting the traditional rules of boxing. This sparring incident also sparked a broader conversation within the combat sports community about the evolution of fighting techniques and the blending of different martial arts disciplines. Jake's experience with Perry serves as a vivid example of the complexities involved when fighters from distinct backgrounds collide, each bringing their unique strengths and strategies to the ring. Well, as we know Jake, he's all talk and no walk. You can't expect him to be honest or to accept responsibility. He never admits he was partying when he should have been in the training camp. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with Jake that Mike Perry was wrong? Let me know in the comments.